Sweet. So I am Nick Teal with Teal Cheese, and I'm here with Kyle Lucas and Michael, better known as Skaggs. Thank y'all for taking the time to talk.
What
Thanks
up?
for
What
having
up?
us.
Thanks for having us, man.
For sure, for sure. Now they are here to talk about their new project, Heart Mafia, and that just debuted. That was last month, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, very recent, very recent. Before we get too much into the music stuff, for people that don't know either one of you, I already know quite a bit about y'all, but for those that don't, where are y'all from and how did you start making music, or when did you start doing it?
I'm from Marietta, Georgia. It's Kyle Lucas. I'm from Marietta, Georgia, and I started making music in high school. I started making it like actually recording and stuff. So high school.
I'm Skaggs, and in like sixth grade, the school that I was in, they required everybody to take band. So like I got my first dose of music in like sixth grade, I guess. And I just kind of I didn't start doing stuff solo until probably high school. Though I was just kind of like dabbling with instruments and stuff until then.
Gotcha. What was the first instrument you picked up that you really gravitated towards?
I played percussion in high school band and like drumline and stuff like that.
So you discovered that early on. Right on.
Yeah, I guess my first instrument was guitar, but the first thing that like my dad gave me a guitar. Like the first thing that I like went to was percussion.
Right on. Did you ever get really good at guitar?
No. I mean, like I'm okay. I'm okay. Like I don't like shred, but
I was in the
I can
same
play.
boat, man. I got one and I just never could figure it out. And I had friends that could really, get to it, shred and stuff. And it's like, it just wasn't for me, man. I couldn't figure it out.
I'm a good rhythm.
How did y'all originally meet?
Oh, before I jump into that one, I think Michael's good at guitar because I've
We're all our own worst critics, man.
Absolutely, man. We met 2017 or 16. Around then, we were on a tour together where he was filling in bass for a band that I was on tour with. So that's when we first met, and we you spent 2 weeks together in a van. You know what I mean? So it's you get real close with each other, and
for sure.
Yeah, that's when we became like formal. But he had ironically enough, like he had. When I did a tour with Mod Sun and G-Eazy, like a couple 5 years before, I didn't know this, but he had booked the Oklahoma show. So
that's funny.
Yeah. So we kind of like met before then, but we didn't like formally like get to know each other until much later.
Right. You probably did meet in the moment and didn't even realize, it's probably or whatever. That's funny. No,
I mean, that's how it is. You meet so many people and everyone's doing something, and in passing you meet people, but they don't like come into your lives where as far as like relationships at certain. So it's funny that we met like years before and we put two and two together while on that tour.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. What band was that you were in at that point? Because I know you from Outline in Color. Was that the band you were with then or no?
I was still in Outline in Color, or I guess I still am in Outline in Color. But I was like, basically we went on tour with It Lives a Breeze, and they were down a bass player. So I just I pulled double duties for a tour, but It Lives had like another tour following the tour that Outline was on, and I just like committed to playing bass through the whole thing, and Kyle was on that run. So that's how we came together.
Right on. Now, I had known Kyle previous to this, but I met you. It was in 2018, and you guys were both touring with Slaves. And I think you were playing drums for Kyle's set. But I was just curious if y'all had any like memories from that tour that stuck out to you, or any stories from that tour.
Michael was actually DJing.
That's what it was.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Dude, that tour was awesome.
It was great.
That tour was really cool. It was just me, Kyle, and our merch dude Ian, and we got like our own van, so we didn't have like any like crazy van drama or anything. We just kind of did our own thing, and because we were doing the DJ thing, like we literally just had like one case that had to get to stage, and worst case scenario, it could be like plugged in on the fly, and we would be fine. So real early on the tour, they were just like, yeah, you guys can just load in, like as long as you're in before doors open, like you're
right
good.
You barely got anything. And that's got to be way different for you specifically, just having toured with bands before.
I mean, I toured with bands, and I've always had live instruments even on my solo stuff, so this was both like a relief from us where we were like, oh, we can just do a line check. There's only 2 mics, 1 line of music. Like, this is awesome. And on a tour with like all bands. And if anyone, you know, if anyone's ever sound checked with bands, it's just it's an arduous, tedious process every night.
Yeah, it's totally. A lot of work.
They loved us because we were off stage like that.
Right,
we so quick.
That had to be a sweet experience. Now, was this project that you got now, was that in the making all the way back then, or did this start more recently?
Yeah, this started last year. Yeah, last winter. So it's less than a year old for sure. Yeah, we started just sending each other music when I moved back to Marietta, and before you know it, I thought of the name Black Heart. I was like, we should do a project. And it was so organically, he just was sending me music and beats. And Michael's been just like crafting out these like ideas. And I was just with no pressure recording them and sending them back. So within less than a year old, this project is.
Right on. And I mean, it seems pretty drastically different from what you both do normally. Just, I noticed like maybe that y'all were having more fun exploring like the pop punk side of it that you both clearly are influenced by, but maybe haven't gotten to do as much of.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah. And we do, I mean, there's a lot more genre depth in like some of our other songs. Like I mean, that pop punk is just kind of like the first.
Yeah. Our second single is night and day different too, but it's still
like disco pop.
It's like Cobra Starship on like cocaine in the 70s.
Nice. Okay, so y'all are getting to explore like multiple different. That's really cool. I like that.
Yeah, we're just kind of doing whatever we want. That's like kind of the whole like purpose of this project, kind of.
Right. Yeah, you don't have anybody telling you what it needs to sound like. Now, can you tell me a little bit about how you linked up with? I think his name was King Zabb, right? That did the video.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that video is incredible.
I agree.
Yeah.
I had never heard of him before. How did that come about?
I managed this rapper called Blue Pill from Washington, and he did this video with Zabb like 2 years ago or something like that, and I was just like, this shit's so cool. And we Outline ended up flying him in and doing a video with him for like one of our videos last year that was in like a marijuana grow op, and it's just like all edited crazy and shit. And I knew that I wanted to do another video with him. So like Outline had actually already booked a video in Tulsa and like booked a flight for him to come down here. And me and Kyle just kind of like rapped on it. We looked at a bunch of his old like work and stuff and just kind of determined like real quickly that it was just like one of those things that we were just going to have to like vibe out and have a good time. And like, it was going to be a sick video. As long as we were having a good time, it was going to be tight. So.
Right. Where did y'all record that? Like
Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Right on. Now, is that where you're from or no?
Yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I live right now too.
Okay.
Shouts to King Zabb, man. He did a great job on that.
He's awesome. He does tons of videos too. He's like one of those directors where it's cool to just like go to his YouTube channel and just scroll down, because it doesn't even matter. Like, even if you don't like the music, like the videos are sick.
Yeah.
You got a very unique style, and it was painless. It was easy. I flew in for one day. We did it, and I flew out the next day. And it was just like all the videos I've been a part of, and there's always so much anxiety and so much planning and storyboarding. And this was literally just like the easiest thing I've ever been a part of visually.
Right. Just tell them, hey, have fun. That's pretty much the whole thing. Yeah.
We literally woke up and we didn't have any like locations or like any of that stuff. We just kind of like just did it by the seat of our pants and turned out.
But it's good that y'all were able to like link up to actually do the video. Did y'all run into any issues with the recording of these songs having to be in 2 different places and kind of send things back and forth? Or did that make it almost easier? Because like you said, it was sort of like at your own leisure.
Well,
go ahead. Michael, go ahead.
We kind of like write remotely, but for so long, and this next song that we'll probably be releasing, we collaborated with Hiram Hernandez in Los Angeles. So we kind of like wrote the songs together. We had like, I don't know, probably like 5-6 songs written. And then we flew to LA and we just kind of showed them all to Hiram, and we chose the ones that we wanted to work on while we were out there. And that's when we did like the official recording, I guess you could say. But some of the stuff, like even from the demos, like we dumped the stems into the session, and some of the stuff got like used in the main like recording, surprisingly.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, is the song about somebody in particular, or is it just like a general sentiment for so long?
I mean, there's inspirations from like both of our personal experiences,
Sure.
but it's not really like vindicating in that kind of way.
Right.
It's just
not
more
about
like a
someone that's gonna hear it and know it's about
Right.
them. I got
I
you.
was literally about to
Yeah,
say, if you heard it, you wouldn't be like, oh, that's about me, you motherfuckers. Like it's more like
yeah. It's like a Frankenstein of relationships.
Right,
I think
right.
we always pull some stuff because I do so much writing for other artists, and I do so much writing for I do so much writing. Even if it's 100% fiction, it's probably like 75, like, because there'll be 25 that I pull from my own experiences, or if I go out on a limb and an artist is like, I want a song like this, I can tap into the emotions that I had gone to that when I went through something similar, and then I'll pull from that. So it's not like a specific call out this person, this situation. It's so specific, but yeah, my verse is about someone. So, but it's I mean, it's a sliding scale of inspiration, really.
Yeah, totally.
I just know, like, as the listener too, you tend to attach it to even, my own memories. If I'm listening to it, I'm going to remember somebody that I feel like it applies to. So I think that's kind of the cool thing about music in general is anyone who hears it's going to take it differently and be able to apply it to their life.
I think that's the number one thing with music is that when you listen to music, I remember specifically going through a breakup and then Coheed's No World After Tomorrow, and this one line like what did I do to deserve? And then I was like, oh, but I was going through that at that moment. So in my life now, I chronicalized that album with the fall of that year. And I think that's the beauty of music. It's up for interpretation and to be related to.
For sure.
Yeah, and now that I'm like more of an adult and like not just like writing songs, but from a place of like straight anger, it's like I kind of like in this place where even if I have a particular thing that I want to get off my chest, I always try to consider the audience in a way that like I'm feeling this, but if I tell my story through a song, they might not get it in a way. So like you kind of have to like. Yeah, the goal is to make them feel or at least understand like what we feel, and sometimes you have to like use a little bit more nuance to tell that story over like melody and beats and stuff.
Right. That's a very good way to put it. Now, what was the process, or what led up to? I saw that Matt Good did like the mixing and mastering for this song.
Yeah,
I don't know if he did all of them or not. How did that come about?
Hiram has like a pretty strong relationship with Matt, and me and Hiram have written a lot of songs together that Matt's ended up mixing or co-writing on, or it was just kind of, I've only worked with him like personally directly a number of times, but they have like a pretty strong relationship.
That's awesome. I was just curious. I saw the name and I had to like make sure, like, is it that Matt from first to last? That's kind of cool.
He did a great job too. So
he really did. And I know he's been doing that a lot lately. Is there anything else about the project that you still want to explore? Like, I know you said you're doing different types of genres. Is there anything that you maybe want to do with it that you haven't really explored yet?
I mean, the main thing that like a project like this where we're like all over the place like kind of prevents is like a lot of capital because it's hard to take a bet on something that's like all over the place, and for that reason like we don't have like crazy music video budgets or like developmental budgets and stuff. We're kind of just like, we both have our own hustle and we just kind of contribute to this project out of our own pockets when we can afford to. But like having access to like a big music video, but we have like crazy visions for like music videos, and most of them can only be actualized with like crazy music video budget. So that's kind of like the main hindrance I would say that we've felt. There's no like shortage of inspiration or creativity between the two of us. It's just like we have this song right now that's like so fucking sick and I drop it today, but like we don't have a music video for it, and it just needs one. Kyle's got some songs like that too that he's been sitting on for forever, but like they just like they need that like perfect music video, and it's just like budget and getting the right person and like not wasting budget on the wrong person.
Right.
I mean, Kyle's had so many music videos get developed and like not come out that
I've had more music videos not come out than have.
I was just gonna say, I remember you telling me that at one point, and I had to like ask you, like, what do you mean what that sounds like? Like that sounds insane, but that's got to be a frustrating part of it to have.
Music video trauma.
Can't put out.
I mean, shit, I got music career trauma. I've like, I'm so full of almost false starts, almost there, like for about 15 years. So it's like for me to even have the motivation to like just block all that trauma out and tap into want to even do music again, which is Heart Mafia is like, it's almost like my vessel for getting me excited about music again, because I just wasn't for like 4 or 5 years.
And now you guys don't really have to rely on signing to a label and doing all the things that maybe 10 years ago were pretty necessary. Now y'all can pretty much just do what you need to do with the resources that you have.
And it's using as like a catalyst and using that as for me to honestly personally to find love to make music again, because it was just like, it's like someone will pay me to do a verse, I'll get paid to write a song for someone, and it's very plug and play, it's very formulaic, and I would be, I'd be remiss to not say that I'm not inspired as much as I was 10 years ago, So the best thing about Heart Mafia in general was just I kind of put all my reservations to the side and all my trauma to the side and just said yes to everything. We came with Hiram with a couple songs, and it turned out way different as far as like, I'm not just coming in there with my idea of what it is. And I'm not fighting for anything. Honestly, I'm not fighting. I'm like, the beauty is collaborating with people, and then me finding the love for just literally music in general.
Right.
Yeah, totally. Because I used to be really like particular about wanting to make sure that my vision was like actualized to the end. But like now it's like the way that we're writing these songs, like we have like a pretty cohesive, I wouldn't say releasable, but like a cohesive demo before we go out to go get these songs produced. And, when we produce them, it's like we already kind of baked in our ideas into it. It's like no matter what way it goes, we already like established like the song, so it just makes it to where we're a lot more comfortable with collaborating and a lot more comfortable with like the So Long was like it was more driving and it had like rock beat to it, but like it wasn't quite the pop punk like
what
thing
it turned
that
into,
it is. But we were all about it. Like as soon as we started riffing on guitar and like throwing Blink-182 riffs and stuff in there, we're like, oh fuck yeah, this goes hard. But like, that wasn't the original like vision for it. But we're just like, fuck it, we love it, we're having a blast. And
I think it's cool though when you have a producer that you can trust and you can let their input play a role in it. Like you said, it'll end up totally different than what you might have expected, but look how amazing.
It's mainly you fighting off your own ego as both of us being artists and both of us being like accomplished artists. I always have I can see to the music video every time I make a song, because I've done it for so long. Michael's done it for so long. But to be able to go into it with no reservations and being like, let's just actually, instead of me just arguing with an engineer the whole time, because I have demo love from this demo 6 months ago, that this is the only way it can come out, man. That's mainly just me internally dealing with that. As I got older, I realized the process and I mean, I say as a joke, like I just said yes to everything, but I did just say yes to everything. The video, the process of the video, the artwork, and it turned out so great and so painless, honestly. So I was like, man, I've been standing in my own way for so long.
Yeah, we all do.
Totally. And we've like written songs since then with like other producers and stuff. And we've done like some like, let's just say yes stuff where, we get a song back and we're like, it's not necessarily like where we want it to be, but it's like we're like getting closer into the realm of things, and we're not spending so much money that we're like upset about like what we're doing. It's just like we're still having fun, and it's like they can't all be done in one session, and sometimes you got to sit on something for a while.
And when we have both other projects, other businesses, we both have businesses, we have other lives. This is like all the pressure gets removed as far as before when I was in Vonnegut, or when even, this is all you do. And so if the Kyle Lucas project, I obsess over, and I realized I was getting in my way so much because I was so married to what I thought it had to be, ends up delaying things, ends up me just being unhappy pretty much, like, because you'll never get, like, opening your ego up to other people's ideas and letting go of this, like, this is how it has to be. That's one of the biggest things I've learned with Black Heart Mafia.
Yeah, I mean, you know what's funny? I was going to ask you, did you have any advice for like a newer musician? Because a lot of the people that flock to the site tend to be newer musicians, people newer to making music. I think that's probably the best advice that they could ever receive right there. It's like, get out of your own way is hard to do.
Yeah, totally.
Once you do it,
And don't be afraid to collaborate with people. As someone who, like, I've collaborated with so many people on their projects. Like, I was lucky enough to have been invited to sessions and then co-write a bunch of songs. But when it came to me, I was like, this is how it is. I had the tunnel vision, and that did it. So one of my advice would be like, view music. I used to view it as like, this is my exact emotions and it's very tailored to just me. Mm-hmm. Then realizing that, it's cool to do it, and it's way more fun when you do it with other people. That's my new thing too, is I'm not really doing anything I'm not just like, I used to just sit and write to beats all day, and it sounds crazy, but I used to do it all day. I think that was necessary for me to develop my skill. But as far as executing it, and like there's so much more than just you being good. So once I realized I had to involve other people and be open to them instead of just cutting them off, because this is not how I envisioned,
Yeah. I think that's important for a lot of people to understand, especially people new to it, because we all get in our way no matter what you do, whether it's music or a different, thing that you're doing. It's definitely tough, man. And it's tough to conquer your own ego like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that comes with age and experience. But, if you could just tell a new artist, if I could help them skip a couple steps, that would be probably.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. I was fucking full of myself too. And, it's just, it's something that you go through for sure. But like, the more willing you are to collaborate with other people and let them share in your vision, the more likelihood that it's going to take you somewhere. Because it's one thing to be like super excited about what you're doing yourself, and that's super sick. And if you're just doing it for self-expression, then hell yeah. But if you're trying to like do it as a career, there's always like certain like sacrifices that have to be made. And, you as an artist, you can choose where you make those sacrifices. But in my experience, collaborating with people and getting them to be as excited about what you're doing as you are, like, you have to let them make a mark on what you're doing for them to feel that way. And but once they feel that way, it's like, now you got two people that are really excited. And it's like, if one of those people like works with a lot of other people and they're like just saying, man, this Kyle Lucas guy, he's fucking awesome, he's great. And like every client that comes in for a year, he's like, man, you know who Kyle Lucas is? Man, he's fucking great. It's like, it gets around, and then the next time you put something out, they see it. It's just like, it's
opens up more doors, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you never know when those doors are going to open. It's never like the show or the showcase or the meeting or like whatever, the email that you think. It's always like something that just comes out of nowhere when you're not expecting it.
Because like, I didn't even want to do the tour, and I was going to back out so many times on the tour. I knew it was going to be a shot tour. I didn't want to do it. And I did it, and then I met Michael. And so it's like almost like you throw your net out. You don't want to do things. I've done this multiple times where I met people where, okay, it wasn't about doing this 2-week run and coming back with 10 grand and playing the sold out shows. Right. This was to meet so-and-so or do so-and-so and develop this relationship. Thus down the line, you keep throwing your net out, you'll bring stuff back, but it's never going to be in the form that you plan it, right? Like, it's never going to be. But it'll show its head differently. And especially quote unquote networking or what everyone talks about. Like, I couldn't think of a better definition than that. Like, just opening yourself up to all the experience, all the opportunities that come your way. And then even being like, whoa, I don't think this is like what I want to do. But when I did it, I was like, okay, it wasn't, I found, and then unbeknownst to me, it was going to be meeting Michael. And then
Right.
a couple years later, I went to Japan with Outline in Color. Michael was DJing for me, and we were making music together. And then we went on the Slaves tour. So all that came from this one thing I didn't even really want to do. You know, that was the most valuable experience from those 2 weeks.
And it's funny how you don't realize it in the moment what the thing
you
is.
never will.
Years later, you go, "Oh man, that's kind of crazy."
Yeah, absolutely.
And to that note, like relationships are pretty much worth like more than anything, you know.
1,000%.
Yeah, and it's just like when you're always like, as an artist, you'll see those artists that like you, and sometimes it's just like because you just don't get it, but sometimes you see those artists that you're like, I just don't get it. Like, why is this artist where they are? Why are they getting the tours they're getting? Why are they getting the opportunities that they're getting? And it's because relationships are worth more than anything. You could have a not so great product, and if you have the right team and the right relationships, like, you know, sometimes things just happen. So like,
especially with enough money behind it.
Totally. So just treat everybody like, it's like, it kind of goes back to that ego thing, but like, just treat everybody like they might blow up before you are, or before you will, because a lot of times they do. And if you're a fucking asshole to them before they blow up, they'll remember that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I remember my friend Nick Shirley, you know, who managed Vonnegut and managed me and stuff. And I remember early on in Vonnegut's career, his dad always had this like, he's a very successful businessman, but his dad was like, always treat the janitor like the CEO. And like, even when he was super successful, I saw that and I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's not about yourself in the moment, you know?
Yeah. That's a tough lesson to learn. And I think it's another thing that comes with age too, is you start to realize that like, even if somebody's doing a job that you might not think is the best job, you could have that job if you hadn't done the things that you did in your life to, you know, go a different direction. So it's like, you just never know, man. You just never know.
And you might still end up with that job if you don't make the right decisions. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, we all saw last year, like anything could happen, man. I watched so many of my friends lose their jobs and and they still don't have it. And it's like, man, you just never know. You know what I mean?
I saw a video with Kevin O'Leary like a week ago. He was talking about college degrees and how like 10 years ago he was like, everybody get a college degree, and he's just like, that's not even like his like on his top 10 list now.
Dude, it's such a debt trap, man. I watched my sister get caught in it, where I mean, she was paying that off for years afterwards. You know, she was damn near my age when she paid it off, and it's like, I'm very glad that I didn't fall in that trap, and I see the younger generation isn't really falling for it, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, the internet kind of leveled the playing field.
Definitely.
So
All right, y'all. Well, listen, man, I appreciate y'all taking the time to do this. I need everybody watching this to go ahead and stream Heart Mafia right now. Stream it over and over again.
Yeah.
And, you know, anything else that y'all want to add?
I just think that I think this is an incredible first effort from a group less than a year old. You can tell. I mean, I think we are seasoned in making music, and this is like a brand new start, brand new name, brand new idea to music. And I think with just only one song released, I can't be any more proud of it. It's a
strong one, man. It's a strong first track, I will say.
Great effort. I feel it's a great effort. Like, this is a great one. I can't wait for anyone to see the second single too.
I knew it would be good because both of y'all are very good musicians, but I'll be honest, man, when I first heard it, I really was like taken aback, like, oh shit, this is not what I thought it would be, in a good way. You know.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you.
Very strong, man. Very strong.
I feel like it's like, I like that response too. Just being like, okay, even if you didn't know Outline in Color, if you didn't know Kyle Lucas or us together, but you could, I think it comes across like the mixing to the mastering to recording to the visuals. Like, I really feel I'm just extremely proud of it. Like, I'm just extremely proud.
You should be, man. You really should.
I like watching it come from an idea I did less than a year ago with Michael, and then seeing it through, and everything was like quality the way you want, you know. Right. Very rare when you get to see it all the way through and it's all pretty good and no hiccups.
Sure. And you're growing closer to somebody else in the process, man. That's awesome. I appreciate it, y'all. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no problem. Have a good one.
Peace.